I have this presentation about the seatbelts that I started doing for teenagers. Because one, now I have a teenager who drives, and it was important to me that he understood, as well as his friends that he has in the car with him, or that he gets in the car with, that they understand it's my #1 rule in the car. I had an awesome PowerPoint, and it was fantastic. I used it all in driver's ed classes and everything. And my son and his brother decided to put it in the Xbox and erase the whole PowerPoint. So I had to make a new one. And it's on a different program, so I don't know how well it is. You guys are my first ones to try this out. So, do you want to turn the light off? Okay, so seatbelt safety, this is by me. That's not spelled wrong, I just didn't put the period, okay? Alright, go ahead, Bryson.
Well, why isn't this 2000?
That's the year. So we're going into the next year. So we go to nationals and compete.
What does Super Mrs. mean?
Good question. So the pageant is America's Super Pageant. And it actually starts with girls that are 8 and up, all the way up to 65, 70 years old. And we go around and promote. My daughter is actually Utah Super Preteen, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about what she promotes with her platform. And this is something that we do together, obviously. Most daughters don't like to do things with their mothers. She was 10. I have a few more years. So good for me, right? So it's something we do. The pageant was started all because the director's daughter was in a car crash and was killed. You guys know why? She was not wearing her seatbelt. Okay? So she is devastated every day. She lives with the fact that her daughter isn't around. So moms, think about that. Kids, think about that. Okay? She was 6 miles from her house when she was killed, not wearing her seatbelt. There were 2 dogs in the car, they survived. So every day, mom sees these dogs, what should be mindful of? Okay? Alright. Next.
That's what happened last night.
Push it. Make it start.
Let's do the same thing.
It's all up. There we go.
Push the button. You should go.
You should really be stressing. You're just really down the middle. It's like,
So, as far as that, that's why we do it. She felt like there was a need of getting seatbelt safety out there. Her pageant's still very small, but that's okay. Here we go. Okay, so it says, why do you? So I want you to think as you watch this clip, why you buckle up. And hope you can hear it.
is it a YouTube clip? Yeah, but it's in the. It should be in the.
Okay, so it's not. So we'll improvise. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. So it's a dad and a mom and a daughter. And they're just playing like charades. How many of you have ever played charades? Okay. So the dad's sitting in a chair, pretending like he's driving. And then all of a sudden he looks over at his family like, hi, I see you guys. And then he turns back and he sees a car coming, like he's going to crash. Okay? So the little girl runs over, grabs him around the waist, and the mom jumps up and grabs him around the shoulder. And you see the impact of him crashing, but they're his seatbelt. So, as I'm describing that, why or who do you buckle up for?
Who do you buckle up for, Lauren? Myself and others.
Yourself and others, okay?
Allison, how about you? Who do you buckle up for?
Your family? Okay. Anyone else?
Hannah, why do you buckle up?
Here's the question. Here's the question. How many of you always wear your seatbelt? How many of you sometimes don't wear your seatbelt? There's 4, 5, 6 of you. Okay, 7. All right. So I'm hoping by the time we're done with this presentation, since the videos aren't all already, that you guys will change your mind and understand why it's important. Remember, my pageant director's daughter, how far away was she? 6 miles. 6 miles. I don't know how far away your school is. I'm sure it's less than that. Okay? All right, rest in peace. Next page. Is it loading? Okay.
I think it's smashed.
Should I just like act out everything on here?
Yeah, you look so
Alright, I know what my next video clip is, so I want you guys to really use your imagination because obviously it's not working, so kind of, maybe. Okay, look at this picture just in case it doesn't work. Look at this, okay? So this is a guy, there's a guy here, there's a guy here. Okay? It didn't work. Okay, so this clip, a bunch of guys driving around, right? You see them all the time. They're driving now. Driving through the city. Stop. Car accident. What did he say? Okay, so you guys remember that picture?
Do you have these videos anywhere else?
Okay, these guys in the car. So they're driving, they get in a car accident, boom, they're all dead. Okay, they weren't wearing their seatbelts. This video is called Rewind. So they rewind it all back to where they started. They get their pizza, that's what they were getting. Oh, don't look at that one, no, close your eyes. So they get their pizza, because they rewound, and they're sitting there, and a big fast car comes by, and that would have been the car that would have hit him, but they took the time to put the seatbelt on. Put the seatbelt on. How long does it take to put your seatbelt on? 2 seconds, right? 2 seconds. Okay? So my mom growing up always told me, she always said, Emily, make sure you have clean underwear on. Okay? How many of your moms always say that? Okay? Do you guys know why?
My mom always told me in case I was in an auto accident.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's why my mom said it. If you're ever in a car accident, you should have clean underwear on. Because most likely if you're in a really bad car accident, they're going to have to cut your clothes off. Would you rather have clean underwear on? Okay, can we stop? Okay, so you guys saw the last picture, right? Or do we need to go back? Go back. Okay, Bryson, can you go back?
Maybe. Go left.
I'm sorry, it's not the windows of the pizza.
I've done away.
Yes, that was pizza on the window. So you saw everything flying, right? Okay. Who knows how fast an airbag comes out when you crash?
It's not gonna. But I can show the video. I found out how to get it.
And you wouldn't have a guess. I heard 60. Bryce said it. When you get in a crash, it comes out at 200 miles per hour.
That's the next one.
Okay. This one you'll get in a minute. Okay, so at 200 miles per hour, you're going in a car crash, right? As soon as that car crashes, does your body stop? No. Your body keeps going, so what's going to keep you in place? Your seatbelt. If I don't have my seatbelt on and I'm going 60 miles an hour and I stop, my airbag comes out at 200 miles. I'm still going what? I'm still going 60 miles per hour. You think I'll survive? Most likely not. I don't know about you, but I don't want something coming at me at 200 miles an hour. Okay? Alright, Bryson, just go ahead and turn it off. Will you just
I
turn the
can
lights?
turn videos on.
Oh, you can?
I figured out how to do it.
Okay, great. So let's try this again. This was the wide view.
Sure.
So in a car, if you're going 60 miles an hour and you have stuff in the back seat, is that stuff going to stay? How fast is it going to come flying at the back of your neck? 60 miles an hour until it hits something. Okay? Yes?
So, I remember this video when I took driver's ed, which was a really long time ago. But it was a video of they were in a car and there was 4 people in a car. The 2 front people had their seatbelts on, and one of the passengers in the back didn't.
Gosh, it's like so emotional to see that.
And that person flew forward and actually killed the 2 front people because of head trauma, because they hit them.
That was the one video, well, probably wasn't the same one, but it was the one video that we hurried and skipped through. So you didn't really see it, but it was, you saw like a guy laying on a girl. So that is another thing. Will you grab the lights and we'll just turn it on and talk about it? We'll just act these videos out.
I'm gonna figure something out.
Okay. Even if we can just show the videos later, that's fine.
That's what I was gonna.
Okay. Okay. So it's you're a projectile. So anything that you have in your car is a projectile. So that one video, the one that really hit me was when I was doing my car seat training. So I became a technician. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a car seat technician place where they help you install your car seats. And then I later became an instructor where I taught firemen and policemen how to teach everybody how to do it. Anyway, the video that they showed was teenagers going on a said, who makes it in the end of this day? Okay, so 3 people buckled up and 1 did not. So you would think the 3 that were buckled would make it, right? No. The one that was flying around the car, he made it, but he killed all 3 of his friends. Okay, again, if I'm not wearing my seatbelt and all of you are, and I'm flying around the car and I'm going 60 miles an hour, I gradually slow down as I hit you in the head with my hand, but how hard is my hand hitting you at? 60 miles an hour. So why do we buckle up? 1 is to keep us restrained and in our seat. Okay, why do you think a driver should buckle up? Okay, it also makes us as the driver stay more in control. We're in control. We're in a stationary position. If I just slump down, driving like, am I stationary? I'm not. Okay, so thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so you saw the little Flintstone clip, okay? People always tell me, my car doesn't have seat belts. How many of you believe that? Most of them. Every car.
Do they, the cars that were made before a certain era, do they still require by law to have them installed at some point?
All cars were made with seat belts. The very first car was made with a seat belt. Whether people used them, they didn't really use it. They didn't understand why. So that's why I put the Flintstones up there, because that's the Stone Age, okay? And there was a little cute seatbelt song that went with it. But every car has a seatbelt, okay? If, let's say you guys are buying a car because you're teenagers and you want your own car, and you find this big clunker, okay? And it's so old that the seatbelts really aren't together, what do you think you should do? Exactly. Seatbelts can be installed for you, okay? Better to be safe than sorry, right? All right, so my daughter, I think I have a picture of her. Yes. This is Kylie. She's a little bit bigger than that, but this is Kylie. So Kylie has a passion for animals. Most little girls do, right? So her platform focuses on, it's called Bark, Buckle Up. What do you think that means?
Buckle up your dog.
Buckle up your dog, okay? Did you know that it is against the law to drive with your pet unrestrained?
Interesting. Oh,
More
that's getting
people should
broken
get
down.
But again, they cannot be pulled over.
So it's a secondary.
That's
I don't know
really
how
gross when
much
a
the
dog
ticket
flies out
is.
of the back of the truck onto your windshield. That's gross.
Yeah. So she works with a program called Bark, Buckle Up. They make harnesses that you strap on and you seatbelt them in. I saw on the video that I have for pets being buckled up, it's just like a, kind of like a leash, but at the end it's like a seatbelt end and it clips into your seatbelt. So they're not restrained as tight as we are, but they are restrained. So why do you think it would be important to buckle your dog up? Yes?
Does your dog can harm you just like all the other people?
That's right. So your dog wouldn't understand why all of a sudden you're not moving. You know, if your dog survived the crash, your dog's not going to understand that. Right? She obviously had that thought of, oh my gosh, that would be sad. Okay? Let me see what else I have in my box. I moved into a new house and I haven't gone through this box. All right. So the top 10 worst excuses for not buckling up. So I want to know if any of you think these are really bad excuses. Okay, number 10. I'm so muscular that it doesn't fit.
That's horrible.
So when I've gone to my driver's ed classes, the boys always laugh, like, hi, I am. And I'm like, dude, the Hulk wears a seatbelt because I've seen him in a seatbelt. True story. So you can't tell me that you're too big to be in a seatbelt, okay? Number 9, it will wrinkle my clothes.
I like that one. That's my favorite.
Okay. So prom, Jacqueline remembers this. We had prom and had I borrowed our neighbor's 15-passenger van, and some of the girls were like, hey, I want to buckle up. And I'm like, then this van's not moving. And they're like, but my dress. And I'm like, your dress is already wrinkled from sitting on it. So they buckled up, and then we had a great time. All right, number 8, it's too tight. If your seatbelt is too tight, then you're not wearing your seatbelt correctly. Okay? So I'm going to demonstrate. That's why I love my sash. Okay? The correct way. We're going to pretend like there's a belt here. Like this. Here we go. Okay. So everybody feel right here. Hardest part on your hips, your hip bones, right here. Feel that? That's where your seatbelt's supposed to go. If my seatbelt was up, the lap belt, if my seatbelt was up here, what's going to happen if I was in a crash? It could actually cut you in half.
Oh.
I'm not getting in cars.
Okay, everybody sit right here.
Oh wait, 2 bikers we killed.
And right here, you have your shoulder bone and your collarbone, right? And your chest bones connected to your whatever bone. Okay, so my seatbelt needs to come across like here. And right here on my hips. Okay? How many of you guys ride like this?
What if you're like in the middle seat?
I'll tell you just a minute. How many of you ride like this? This is your shoulder belt, and it's coming around here.
You're gonna be cut like.
Do you think your ribs are strong enough to take the force? No, people fall just tripping and break a rib. They trip over their own feet and break a rib. Okay? So that's a no-no. How many of you have seen people drive like this and they just have the lap belt and the shoulder belt's behind them? Okay? Same thing. They pretty much, most cars nowadays only have shoulder and lap belts. The older cars will have just the lap belt, okay? What's going to happen? If I don't have a shoulder harness, I'm still going to go forward, right?
Smash your head.
You can smash your head. So if you're in a car, an older vehicle that just has a lap belt, you're still safe, but you're safer to be in a strap.
If you wear like your strand kind of like right here on your shoulder because if it's there it chokes you.
Okay. Newer car, well, a lot of cars have those adjusters. Adjust it. Okay? Or another thing is you may not be sitting properly. If it's not hitting you right here, maybe you're slouching a little. So basically your butt has to be all the way back to the seat. Okay? Try that and see if that will help. Okay?
With this part?
Yep, and see if you can adjust it.
Because you're not a little bitty midget.
All right, so how many of you have younger siblings?
Well, I was going to explain.
How many of them are still in car seats?
Hey.
Okay, so I don't know your name.
Kaylee.
Kaylee? That's kind of like Kylie, but you know, whatever, right? So how old is your youngest sibling?
2.
2. Okay? So this 2-year-old, I'm sure, is facing forward now. In a car seat or a booster seat?
Car seat.
Perfect. Now, when you put, is it a girl or a boy?
Boy.
When you put the sweet little boy in his car seat, is his harness tight or is it loose?
It's pretty tight. It's tight enough that he complains about it at 2 years old.
Perfect. Let him complain. Okay, second thing. Here's my car seat, okay? Is it loose like this?
No.
Kind of. Here's your trick. You're going get out of a booster seat, you have to be over 4'9", you have to weigh 80 pounds, and you have to be 8 years old or older, okay? So you said she's a little itty bitty thing. Okay, Kylie, do you think she's a big chunker? She's not, okay? Height-wise, she's almost there. Weight-wise, she's nowhere near that, okay? Age-wise, she is. Now, why they say 8 is because at 8 years old, your bones are developed to the strength of what an adult is. Okay? Yes, they're still growing, but they're hard enough to handle a severe crash. Okay? So, do you know how much she weighs, maybe?
Like 50 or there.
So they're pretty close. They're pretty close in weight. So we have a van. I don't know if you call it a van. I haven't seen it in a couple of months. It broke down, so I don't know what it is. In our van, she needs to sit in a booster seat because if she were to sit in a regular seat, in order to sit in that regular seat, I'm Kylie, her butt has to be all the way back to the seat, her feet have to be on the floor. In our van, she can't do that. Okay? In our Mustang, which, 6 people trying to fit in a Mustang, kind of like a clown car, doesn't work, right? Not enough seatbelts. But in our Mustang, if she were to sit in the booster, she's too tall. And so if we were to get in a crash, the back of the seat should hit it like this. Okay? They do make those boosters that do have the backs on them, and I would suggest for anyone that has future children, that's the kind of booster seat you want, is one that has the back. Because there's cars that don't have those headrests. Okay? So your sister, I'm remembering it's a girl, your sister, it's good to keep her in the booster, but you need to check. Okay? If she can sit in the seatbelt with her butt all the way back and it's hitting her hip bones, she's probably safer that way than being in the booster seat. Okay? I don't know, leaders, if you guys heard a couple of months ago, I want to say it was 215, maybe I-15, and there was a crash, and a little girl was ejected. Okay? Do you guys remember this? Are you recalling this?
On Father's Day?
I think it was around
Brother
that time.
and saw it.
And the car rolled on top of her?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this little girl, they had her in a booster seat, and she probably would have been okay, but she didn't have the harness part on. So that's one reason why she got ejected. Okay. They also had a newborn in there, and I'm surprised the newborn stayed in because they had it forward facing in an infant carrier type seat, which is rear facing only. So I'm surprised that child didn't get hurt either. So this little 5-year-old actually should have been in a regular car seat. Okay, do you think she probably would have stayed in the car? Most likely. Okay. Who has a baby? Baby at home? No babies? 1 year old. Okay. Jacqueline, I know, has a niece that is that age. So I'm sure you guys have seen little Riley around, probably. Okay. So Riley, she just turned 1. It's okay for her to turn around and be forward facing, but it's better for her to stay rear facing as long as she can. Because one reason why is if she's in a crash and she's rear facing, that car seat's gonna flip up like this, and now she's like in a cocoon. Because she has the seat, so here's the seat, and she comes flying up like this in her seat. So she's safe, she's protected. Does that make sense? Okay, questions? I want questions, girls. Yes?
How would you have to be like out of a car seat?
Okay, so I gave a few hints. Do you remember?
Yes, sort of. You'd have to be like, you talk about the rear facing and front facing, but like what?
So,
I think she's,
so your weight
I
will
think she's
be,
asking how long a baby should be in an infant carrier, right?
Yeah.
okay, the weight is always listed on the car seat, okay? So go up to that weight, but length is also important. If you have a baby in an infant carrier and their legs are as long as mine, being rear facing is not going to work, right? Okay, so then that's when you would turn them around, or get a bigger rear-facing car seat, which they're called convertible seats. So convertible seats are great because they're rear-facing, then they go forward-facing, then they turn into a booster seat. So you save money. Okay, but 8 years old, pretty much 8 years old, 80 pounds, and 4'9". You need to be 2 of those. So how much do you weigh? Like 20 pounds? Yeah, you're just this little tiny thing.
80.
You're 80?
Yeah.
How tall are you?
4'10".
Oh, you just barely, so close.
She's in the 8th grade.
So close. Aren't you glad you're 4'10" and, you know, you're just barely 80 pounds?
Yay, go you. One of these days you're going to love that.
Okay, more questions. Think of questions that you have. Who knows where most crashes occur, like mileage wise?
Within like 5 miles of home, or 2 miles.
They used to say it was 2 miles, but now it's broader. It's more than that.
15.
Close.
20.
Within 25 miles of your home, you're going to get in a crash. Okay? Now, you can be the best driver out there, right? I think I'm the best driver out there, but I know all the crazies that are driving around me. So, you have to be prepared for anything. When Bryson and I were driving here, what did we see? We saw a motorcycle crash. Okay? I'm driving through the light, laying on the ground is this guy.
Luckily, he was okay.
Okay? He had his helmet on, which is great. Don't ever get on a bike with a boy unless they have a helmet.
And you
Or at all.
And you have a helmet, so you need 2 helmets. All right. So we stopped on it's too tight, and we've discussed that. Number 7, I'm in a hurry.
You're never in too big of a hurry.
Okay, so we talked about how long it takes to put on a seatbelt, right? So if you tell me, oh, I just didn't put it on because I didn't have enough time. Well, if you're telling me that, then you're also telling me you didn't change your underwear today.
My favorite is when you drive with your knee and try to fasten it. I
Oh,
love that.
yeah.
I love that move, just so you know. That's
My
a good move.
husband, he's like, have you ever seen the shirt that makes it look like you're wearing your seatbelt? And I'm like, no, and I'm never going to see that shirt. Okay, number 6, it's only a short drive. We just talked about that. Okay, within 25 miles, you're most likely going to get in a crash, right? Who remembers the mileage the girl, my pageant director's daughter, was in? 6 miles. She was going to the store to buy hot dog buns for their barbecue. And never came home.
Worst hot dog get together ever.
I don't think I'd ever eat a hot dog again.
Exactly.
Okay, number 5, it's broken. We talked about this too. What do? Go get it fixed. Lots of cars have recalls. Lots of them are on seatbelts. They will pay for it to get fixed if it's a recall on a car that you own. Okay? Number 4, no one else wears them.
That makes me want to throw someone.
You want to throw someone?
Tell him about Devin.
Huh?
Tell him about Devin.
Oh, okay. So, I used to live in South Carolina. I've lived all over the place. But I used to live in South Carolina, and we had this young man in our ward. And let's see, he just would have had his birthday.
He just
Last
turned
week.
21.
Just turned 21, would have. And so I had moved to Utah at this time, and I went through divorce, got remarried, so we're in this new time, okay? So my mom and dad are here, and we were at their hotel swimming with the kids and having a great time, and my mom and dad pulled me out of the pool, and I could tell something was wrong. And you don't ever want to face your parents when they have this look like, Emily, come here, right?
Oh my gosh.
You know you're either in trouble or you did something. I'm like, wait, I'm an adult. I shouldn't be in trouble. What's going on? So they pull me in, and they're like, my mom starts crying, and she said Devin was in a car crash, or was in a crash. And he has a motorcycle, so I'm thinking his motorcycle. I mean, I wore his helmet, but that's what I'm thinking. I wasn't. He was in a car crash. And in South Carolina, we have roads like this, kind of like when you go up in the mountains, but that's your main road is like this. And we have very big, huge oak trees. and they were going probably 120 miles and went around and hit the tree. He wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
Yes, he was.
Who's Devin?
He was the only one.
He's just the man in your ward?
Yeah, he was the man in our ward.
He was the
He
only
was the only
one.
one.
He was
Well-
the only one to wear a seatbelt, and he was the only one to die. Everybody else walked away with a couple broken bones and bruises.
And I believe also, okay, so Devin had a seatbelt on, nobody else did, but everybody else was very intoxicated.
So they're really loose.
And Devin wasn't. He had alcohol in his system, but he wasn't fully intoxicated.
Okay.
So yeah, he did die. So,
So
it's
because
an
he wasn't
example-
intoxicated, he died?
no, it's an example of, yes, you can get hurt, and yes, you can die wearing your seatbelt. It depends on how the crash is and what happens in the crash. Right. So who's to say that someone didn't go flying in the car and kill him? I don't know. I wasn't there.
And they probably wouldn't tell you because you'd be so devastated, you know what I mean?
Right.
To know, oh, my kid, because they didn't do it, killed this other kid.
Right.
You know, they're not gonna go.
Bryson, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the kid driving got charged, and I think the other two in the car were charged as well.
They were all charged. I know the driver, he was taken away.
Yeah. So he's serving some time. The parents aren't blaming him. What can you do? You know? Have that pain and hatred and all that time? No. Because those kids are devastated too. So it would be a hard thing, I think, as a mother, if that happened to my child. How do you go about forgiving the people that killed your child? Right? Think about that. It's really hard. Okay, number 3, I'm too busy talking on my cell phone.
Oh, that's good. Yay. Yay for the cell phones.
All right, Lauren, right? You just turned 16. Do you know the law in Utah about cell phones?
I'm not supposed to have it.
Well, actually,
You can't edit
It's not even Bluetooth.
what?
Like teenagers are not allowed to have any.
You're 21.
Are you girls allowed to this? This is important, read it here. This particular one, no cell phone usage for you teenagers.
As a member,
At all.
hand it over.
At all. So if you're caught driving and texting, and you get pulled over and you're a teenager, what do you think is going to happen?
They're gonna take your driver's license away.
They will. They will take your driver's license away.
Then you can't have it until you're 21. Serious business.
Yeah.
Don't run over me while you're texting.
So do you think it's important to have a cell phone? Yes, there is an important reason why to have it. What if you were in a crash and you needed to call mom or dad? In our time, we had to go find a payphone. And we had to hope that we had a quarter. Okay? So it's good to have a cell phone. But I know you guys have seen the commercials. When is an appropriate time to have a cell phone? In swimming class? What's going to happen to your phone? Right, it's going to fizzle out, right? You've seen the commercial with the football player. And he's texting. He's supposed to be making the play. Team lost the game. Is that an appropriate time? So why would driving be an appropriate time? Okay? When you're looking down, even to turn the radio, that's a distraction. Okay? All right, number 2. My car didn't come with one. Okay, we talked about that too. Stone Age, they had seatbelts. You saw him wearing one, right? Okay, number 1. I won't get in a crash. How many of you believe that leaving tonight, you will not get in a crash?
She's walking.
Yeah.
Walking, you can still get in a crash. Someone can hit you.
Did you like
Die
watch
every
the
second.
I feel something?
No, I'm trying to prepare you for what's really out there. There's a lot of crazy
Let's
stuff.
just we're just wearing helmets.
So you need to have your eyes and your ears open at all times so you're aware of your surroundings. How many of you guys walk or run or do you have 2 plugs in or just one?
One person.
Okay, if you don't have any, great, because now you can hear everything. But if you have them, only have one in. Okay? All right, any questions? I had a thought and it's not coming back to me. That's what happens when you get all the
No, that's what happens when you get busy. Busy.
I was like,
Okay, any questions? No? No. All right, I have been working with Zero Fatalities. Have you guys seen their commercials? Okay, so Zero Fatalities, they're so nice. They provided us with little fun things to hand out.